fractions of fractions, like 1/3 of 2/3. What does that equal? Warming up our brains, there are 12 counters in a set. How many are in a half of the set? There would be 6. If there are 10 counters in 1/7 of the set, how many are there in the whole set? Well, 1 out of 7 is 10. So we needed 7 groups of 10 to get to 70. If a half of a set is 8, a fourth of the set is 4. If 3/5 of a set is 18, how much is the whole set? The easiest way to think about this is if we had 1/5. First, figuring it out that way. This is 3/5. So 1/5 would be equal to, well, there's some technical difficulties there with the volume. It should be 30. 3/4 of a set is 6. What is 1/8 of the set? And that would be 1. And if 16 counters are 4/5 of a set, how many are in 1/4? That is 5. As we got further down, they got a little bit more complex. And some of you may need to draw pictures still. Some of you probably can do it on your own. Definitely draw out pictures to help you. You're going to be doing some problems in your math journal and to help you get started. 1/2, what is a half of 3? Well, if this is all the way 3, what is halfway to that point? Well, it's going to be 1.5. Number 2, what is 1/4 of 2? So if we were to put this into 4 equal groups, here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 4 equal groups. So one of the 4 would be a half. You will need to be working on the rest of them on your own during math class. The big idea is to try to put it into equal groups from wherever it's asking. So in number 3, you're going to 2, and you need 4 equal groups. Count up how many of the lines there are. Try to get to 4 equal groups. This is an example in your SRB, maybe of great benefit for you to take a look at. It's talking about a unit fraction, and a unit fraction is any time that there is a 1 in the numerator. So 1/2, a third, a fourth, a fifth. You can see that there's always that 1 in the numerator. Unit fractions can be helpful in solving problems with fractions, or like if you're thinking about a fraction of a number or a fraction of a whole, it can be of help for you. This example, Alex collects sports cards. 70 of his cards feature basketball players. These 70 cards are 2/3 of his collection. How many sports cards does Alex have? Well, we know that we're just talking about, we were trying to figure out how many cards he has completely. We know that 2/3 of his set are the basketball cards, and 2/3 is 70. So what would each equal? So a lot of you figured out, well, this is 35, this is 35, because 70 divided by 2 is 35. So 35 plus 35 plus 35 would equal to 105. Another example is Alicia bakes cookies. She gave away 24 cookies, which was 3/5 of the total she baked. How many cookies did Alicia bake? Well, once again, we've set up a little diagram which we want to know how many she made it all. There was 5 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 3 out of the 5 groups was the 24 cookies that she made, and each would be represented by 8. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. 5 times 8 is 40 cookies. Taking a look at a couple of the examples down below here, what is 2/3 of 12? If we were to break it into 3 equal groups, all right, taking a look at some fractions of fractions. The easiest way to take a look at some of these examples is through drawing out pictures. Now, if we're going to talk about a half of a half, when you receive a problem like this, you may want to start out with something like this, where we're taking a look at one of the fractions, okay, and we are making it vertically. So we filled in half of it. Now we're taking a look at our second fraction, and we're going to do this way, where we're dividing it in half and we're shading it all in. As you see that the crisscrosses are opposite, and there's one section that is filled out a little bit differently, as it is crossed by both this half and this half as we did it. So a half of a half is actually going to be 1/4, one of the 4 pieces. Another way to look at problems of fractions is to multiply. Sometimes we have heard that of actually tells us to multiply. When we multiply fractions, we multiply just straight across. It's much easier than adding and subtracting fractions. So 1 times 1 is 1, and we have to do 2 times 2, which is 4. So this is one way to get it equal to 1/4, and drawing it out is another way. All right, taking a look at another example. If we had 2/3 of a half. So let's first go ahead and put our group into half, which we have done. Now we're going to do horizontal lines of 2/3. So we have to break it in 1, 2, 3 equal groups. We're going to go ahead and shade the other way, those 2 parts, which is done right here. And now we can put an X, or we can just take a look at those places that are double crossed out and see that 2 of them are filled out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So 2/6 is what 2/3 of a half is equal to. Now if we're taking it back to what I was talking about before, where we just make of multiplying, 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. So 2/6, which would be also equal to 1/3. All right, taking a look at some more examples. 1/4 of 2/3. So first off, I'm going to make my vertical lines. Remember, vertical go up and down. So I'm going to make 4 equal groups here. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in 1 of the 4. And now for just our purpose, I'm going to just change color, because this is another way you can do it. And I'm going to make this next section into thirds. And they don't have to be perfect. It's just giving us an idea of representation. Now I'm going to go ahead and color in 2 of the 3 sections. We're going to go ahead and put an X where there is both colors, which is right here and here. So that happens in 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 2/12 we can easily divide by 2 on each to get an equivalent fraction of 1/6, which is its simplified form. Once again, we can make of into multiplication. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 3 is 12. We got that same idea. Looking at another example, let's go ahead and first make our half. And then let's do our force. I forgot to color in my section here. And then 3 out of the 4 sections are going to be colored in. And let's go ahead and mark those that have both colors. So that is 1, 2, 3 out of our 8 pieces. Once again, we can do it by multiplying. Of means multiply. Multiply straight across. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 2 is 8. You're going to continue working on your math journal page when you get to class. You can either choose to draw out the pictures like I demonstrated, or just changing of into multiplication. You can choose whatever way works best for you. I wish you the best of luck. Continue working hard.